you believe it? It's that Monday night delight. What's up, Flobo After Hours, a part of the New Amsterdam Network. I want to thank you and welcome you up to the treehouse here. It's late here in the West Coast, 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Tuesday morning on the East Coast. And I want to thank anyone and everyone who's piling into the chat right now on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and Twitch. You guys are fantabulous. But I got to give a special shout out to the members of the Boisterous Crew. That's our Patreon page because they want to unlock bonus content, see exclusive videos, interviews, all kinds of things. I might even post a workout routine. Granted, it revolves a lot of chocolate. Anyway, give a shout out to Christopher C., Chrissy H., ACH, Edric P., Oliver E., Princess Leia, Matthew C., Lindsay U., and Richard R. You guys make this show a reality. Before I get to my guests, I just want to say we have a space for all of us here. If you have other comments, we're reading everything. So you have comments, questions, or concerns for our guest today, please do. But I am not alone. My guest today can be seen all over the globe, whether in person or virtually, doing the comedy thing. She can work a pair of nunchucks. We were about to meet this time last year if it wasn't for a thing called 2020, but she is killing it in her RV. Please welcome Bernice Ye, everybody.
Hello. Oh my God. Hi, Flobo. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. We're finally going to meet virtually.
There's so many people saying hi already. I see the comments coming in.
Yeah, this is what we're just hanging out, having a good old time. And if you have questions for Bernice, please just put it in there. We'll make sure we ask everything. But a little bit of a backstory here. This time last year, I had made a concerted effort to see the world, comedy. And I applied to be in this festival called Before You Die. It was going to be in Alaska. Those who listen to the show has heard this spiel before, and it got canceled. But had we had the event, we would have met in person, Bernice. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, oh my God, yes. I mean, I was so looking forward to that event, like Alaska, to do comedy and to meet people and do fun stuff.
Oh, absolutely. How long have you been doing comedy? How long have you got the comedy bug?
I think by now I just passed the 3 years.
Give it up.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Was that the dream? Did someone pull you on stage? Were you like, no, I have to do this? Well, how did you get started?
I never thought about comedy until I did it, because English was my second language. I came here by myself. It was hard enough just to learn the language. I just never thought about be funny in it.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know. It's just really silly. I when I washed my face at night, it took so long. I was so bored.
Yeah.
I was just trying to find what is good to watch when I wash my face, and just Netflix comedy special is perfect, right? Because it's not addictive. It's about 30 minutes to an hour. So I watched so much comedy special. When I wash my face, I realized, you know what? I think like a comedian. That's how I think. And there are more and more immigrants or women and POC doing comedy, and then so I made one resolution, New Year's resolution. I'm going to get on one open mic before the end of the year. But because I made that resolution and somebody said, oh, I know a comedy class, you should sign up. I signed up, did a showcase, and definitely caught the bug. Yeah.
Well, first of all, shout out to having resolutions because everyone doesn't do them nowadays. They're just too good for resolutions. I'm all about that. But how long does it take to wash your face that you load up an entire comedy special to do it? We're just well, it's going to be an hour and a half. Might as well. Does it really take that long?
If you're a procrastinator, like me, I would wash my face, but then we'll find an excuse. You know what? I could put some honey, or I made my own apple cider vinegar and a honey mask. So I do that, and also, I need to wait for 20 minutes and then wash it off. So
okay.
Yeah, you said 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I have the pump, and that's it. That's why. This is why my pores are terrible. This is why.
No, so good for you. My fiance does not wash his face at all. It's how dirty is your fish? It does not wash his face.
That is an awful male stereotype. You let him know exfoliation is the key to being youthful.
Right.
So 3 years doing comedy. The first time doing it, was it instantly oh, this is the jam, I have to do the rest of my life? Did you bomb? Did you hate it? What was your first experience getting on stage for the first time?
Yeah, and the first time I definitely had that high, The showcase have a good audience, obviously, but also that after the show, like it hits so well. And after the show, there's so many people coming. You should really do this. And then I went to another open mic somewhere, and then there's another woman came and said, "Hey, we do this women only mic. If you want to drop by." I
Yeah,
feel if I didn't get that flyer to do open mic, it might be very different because I feel like I was so new. I was a fearless. I did not know all the intimidating things. I just got lucky. I went to a woman only one and it was so friendly. But if
yeah.
I go to, the other one that it just all I see is a bunch of intimidating big white dudes, like I probably will feel different.
Right, right. Big activity way too. JLJ Media says, take care of his skin. You're dang right, JLJ Media. Why not? And yes, charcoal face wash. So when I use that Biore, clutch.
Look at
Uh,
that. Yes, you got to do the thing, the sheet, the face
yeah.
mask sheet. Yeah. Right. I have those. I love those.
So I was on your website, and you are playing everywhere. How do people get into business with Bernice? Like, is it kind of a thing where it's like you gotta book in advance? I mean, how are you going from one gig to one the other gig in the same day? I mean, it must be crazy for you.
Well, I guess what I do, I try to like, so I have a little trick to share. I go to a show I like, right? And then I also I like to meet I love meeting comedians that I connect to. So, oh, you're so funny. I just, we all know the hustle. It's so hard. So if somebody is funny, I tell them. I also follow them. I also see what shows they are in. Then I will find out who produced the show. Because if the flyer looks good, the comedian that I feel we've been on the same show, I can probably get on the same show. I reach out to the booker and the producer too.
Yeah,
But I also know that during the pandemic, I probably want to network, right? Because Zoom show is just in no comparison in to the live in-person show.
sure. Yeah, I know,
But
right?
yeah, yeah. But I feel like it's a really, like, I embrace it because I feel it's a really great way to connect with people you are never able to connect to. Great way to work on the new material. So like I use that as an opportunity to meet people, and it has been really fun. Like sometimes somebody in the show say, "Hey, I also produce a show. Would you like to be on the show?" And that's
Yeah.
how one thing leads to another.
That I gotta give a shout out to our mutual friends, Austin Warren. Go Mulan.
Oh, oh my God. Okay. I mean, Austin is my boo. I
You got a man
I
and a
met
boo? Continue. Put me on. Okay, Bernice.
but we've never met in person actually, and then
What?
so yeah, we met on a Zoom mic. Actually, we met on a Zoom mic, and I
Props.
think it's the same thing. Like I remember his joke. It was like a really funny joke. It's like the McDonald. I'm loving it. I still remember it. So I told him we stay connected. And then during the pandemic, we've been like really encouraging. Like Austin has been awesome. Like he checking on me. He will say, "Hey, work harder." He's like,
Yeah, that's so awesome for sure.
yeah.
Because
He's like, "No slack."
there's times I'm like in my pajamas or like in my underwear hanging out, and Austin's like, "Yo, you getting on mic today?" You're like, am I a comedian if I don't work on stuff? But he hit the nail on the head of my next question. I'm on your Instagram, and it says you are quote the Mulan of comedy. Where did that come from, and how'd you embrace it? And that was like something someone told you that, or that was like your gimmick going in.
Yeah, I don't know which one started first. Did somebody call me Mulan first, or but then the story is, when I was like in go through puberty, cause like okay, so back then in China, hot pot,
Okay.
is a regular, it's a very normal when they put poppy shell, like
Mm-hmm.
the opium shell, but it's not opium, the shell in the hot pot. So
Yeah.
it become addictive. So like my parents went to one of those restaurants, like it's from out of town, and they were like, "Oh my God, it tastes so good." They've been talking about it for weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it's just considered a thing that is good for your health if you just have a little. So my grandma made chicken soup like with like opium. With
Yo,
like poppy
grandma's
sound.
lit.
Yes. So like they're supposed to make you feel good and happy. And I had it, and then that night, like I was, I don't know, 8. And then that night instantly I feel like they're like boobs, like, like it's hurting. And then my mom told me you got boobs.
Wait, you trying to tell me that grandma drugged you into puberty? Is that what happened?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
nobody would have believed this, but it happened. And then so then for me, I had like early boobs, but very small, and I was very embarrassed. It was very small, but very awkward, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
too young to wear a bra of any sort. So but then I know about like a Mulan trying to be a man. She actually used a wrap thing to make the
Yo,
boob go
yeah.
away. So
Yeah.
I use the thing to try to hide my boobs.
Yeah.
So kind of like inspired by Mulan.
Oh, as a man that's tried to hide his boobs for years, it's a losing proposition. Once you get them, they're just there. You know what I'm saying? Like just embrace it. You know what I'm saying? That's right. But the
Yeah.
Mulan, it makes sense now. I was one of that. I was like, how do I ask that? Like, but I'm so glad Austin Warren did it for me, so I didn't have to do that for it. So,
Oh, that's
uh,
too funny. Too funny.
yeah. Well, okay. So the past year you're doing the Zoom shows on the comedic side. What about you as a person? Like, what other things you're working on? How did you keep yourself busy inside the lockdown? I mean, what did Bernice do when the whole world stood still?
I also quit my job, my day job, at the end of January. I know it's so weird to think quitting your job during a
Yeah.
pandemic. But so I previously my day job was at Hulu. I was a manager, and then the more I work in the what TV or movie industry, the more I feel like I want to work on more. I have stories I want to tell. And but I also feel like working in a corporate world, you never really are able to speak the absolute truth, right? Like
Oh
I
yeah.
some of the things are funny in stand-up comedy, but not this all the story I want to tell is funny. I want to learn more about screenwriting. But I found like I'm battle against time. Like
Yeah.
every morning I woke up, I'm like stressed out about my work already. And then at the 6 p.m. I finish work, I already have talked on Zoom with at my work for 6 hours. I just like meetings. Yeah. So by the time I get to a Zoom mic or show, I am exhausted. I just very little energy left. So I
Yeah.
decided, you know what? Let's just see what I can do with it. Like, let's take a risk. Like, spend 2 3 years and see what I can do. If not, I can always go back. Like, the job will be there. But I just want to see what I can do with my whole heart.
So was it like a sad goodbye, or was it like, you know what, I'm out this, like peace out Hulu? Like how do you like walk away when people say you should have a good job, you should do something that's very very serious? You like was it easy for you to make that decision as far as telling your managers you're out, your family you're out, or was something you had to debate?
It's not that hard. Actually, so because so I love my job at Hulu. To be honest, like it was I had a really good run, a really good manager, and then like I have a team working for me. Everyone was awesome. But in the meantime, Hulu is being so the owner Disney had a ownership of Hulu now, and then so this
Mm-hmm.
Hulu's culture is also changing, right? Like so, from a small company turning into a much bigger company. My manager turned out she's leaving too, so I did not feel too bad about
Yeah.
leaving the company I love and the job I love. And this is something in the coming. Like 5 years ago, I sounded really like a dork, but even 5 years ago, I envisioned, in 5 years, I would want to have enough saved up or financially. I've been working toward this goal so that I can take on some creative job without having the pressure to immediately generate income. So I have really worked very hard to plan this day, and so I feel good that I'm able to
Yeah.
do it.
So good, going out there, getting yourself into new adventures. In fact, we are actually talking to you live from the RV, which you are traveling the country in, which is crazy. That blows my mind. So, if you can give me a close location, don't tell me exactly where you are. That'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
But like a close example where you are, where you're going, where you've been in your RV with your partner.
Okay, yeah. So right now I am in the Santa Cruz between Monterey Bay and the Santa Cruz area.
Yeah,
And this is a 5 week road trip. So we left from, I live in Camano Island, Washington. So we went to like Oregon. We did a bunch of like Oregon coast already, but now this time we want to catch some nice sunshine from California, right? So
yeah,
we let's see, we went to bunch of like the north coast. We what is it, it's called Westport Union. It's like in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
There's no cell phone reception whatsoever, just like you overlook this beach. You do dry docking, so you don't have water and stuff, you just have to bring in enough. But that was very fun. It's very remote. Anchor Bay, Paso Roble. We were just in Morro Bay. Oh, I absolutely love Morro Bay so much.
Yeah.
Um, there are so many lakes. Oh, go ahead.
No, please, I don't want to cut you off or anything, but like, I always felt like an RV thing is something we always say we'll do. I'll write the great American novel. I'll run a marathon. But like, I mean, you're youngish to be enough to be like, I'll push that aside. But you decided, nah, we're doing it right now. we're hitting up the RV divas. You can find it on YouTube. Your videos of you traveling in this RV. Like, what was the thought process behind that?
Oh, yeah, that's funny. Let's see, where did I started? I am the last person to say I love camping. I don't.
I don't either. I
It's
don't
like
see the point
all
of it.
this year, right? Like, all this year, people, like all the white people, do go camping. It's like, no. I don't camp. I'm an immigrant. I don't camp. But then
Facts.
when I met my fiance, and he loves camping, and then so we made a deal. So why not? We'll go on a camping trip, but he will make it really nice for me. Like, so
Glamping.
so glamping style. And I went with my Asian friends who actually, like, they brought all their shit. I love it. Like, I didn't to bring things, but they bring all the cooking things. They cooked for me. So I had a great time. But my only thing is that, well, I wish we can not do the tent thing. And then
Yeah.
we found out there are places you can rent an airstream and just to stay in it. You can book a campsite. They will deliver the airstream and you live in it. And I had the best time. I said, wow, this is so awesome. One thing leads to another. We checked out RV shows and then we're like, oh my god, RVs, there's so much space. It's like a house and it's so cheap. Like, if you go to RV show, I think they're like really nice ones. Like, you can get a 15 grand and you can tow everywhere. And this is like really nice, but it's cheaper than the car.
Right.
So yeah, so for me, it's like, wait a second. If I can spend time living here, and then maybe I can vacation rental my home, maybe I can actually have net income. So I just like, there is a way to reduce my costs, but while I'm traveling around. So that's why we got into this.
That's crazy. JLJ Media says, I'm not a camper either. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, if I have shelter, why would I opt out of that? Like, that's that's a very basic necessity. Okay, whatever. But it's interesting because, like, you said yourself, you came from China, you came here by yourself, and now you're on this RV tour, which is amazing. You're not by yourself doing that, but like, I'm in on a vacation for 2 weeks. And I'm like, you know what? This country is weird, but to be in the United States and to see different kinds of people and cities and cultures, what's that been your perspective from the outside of seeing how American are Americans?
Yeah. um I've been to places that's like really in the middle of nowhere, right? So obviously there are places I will pass by, I'm like, I'm scared, I don't feel safe here, let's go.
Yeah,
But in most of the time also feel people are very nice. So I'm always in between of like, like, honestly, like, now is hard. Well, I'll give you an example. When we drive down to Anchor Bay, and it's an area, there's no cell phone reception, and
I'm out. I'm out.
yeah, you're out, right? And then we run out of gas. So meaning that, like, there's no gas station. We look up one last gas station. We got there. Gas is out and they're closed, and we don't have a place to go. And then there are a car like full of kids come by and say, hey, they try to help us. They say, hey, we have a gas can. If you want, we bring gas to you. And I was like, oh my God, people are so nice. So nice. We were just so grateful. And in the middle of nowhere, just beautiful of meeting people. But then there's another old guy drove his truck here. It's like, be careful of those kids. I know my people. It's like they give you bad gas. So he really planned this fair. Is like, these kids are doing bad things to you. They're like, and I said, what do you mean? What do you mean by bad gas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, so I'm trying to analyze, well, be careful, because like, all these things. There's, we're in Trump country, like there's a fear that it can immediately get to your head.
Oh yeah, I'm a minority. I get it.
Right. And so we waited. So we called AAA, and the AAA is on their way. And then those kids come and they, brought their gas, and we were trying to let's give you money. So no, we don't want money. We just want to help you. And then they just really looked like really good kids.
Yeah.
So at that moment they just have so much better. And then we need to return the gas can, so they want us to pour the gas in the car, and then they will go. And that moment I just like chickened out. It's like, maybe we should wait for AAA, because I don't know the gas. You might like not be good and can destroy the engine. That's what the old guy is trying to scare us. Is, they give you bad gas. They ruin my car.
Right.
So that's kind of the emotional like battle. It's like, I want to believe everyone is good people, but then there's also the fear, and I don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Oh wow. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The journey to the unknown, man, and it's funny because I can sit this from the comfort of my bedroom and be like, you'd be fine. But when you're out there and you see darkness, or if it's cold, you're like, I don't know what's going on.
There are definitely people like when we were walking by. There's a trend. There are young kids. They will drive by and try to scream at me and startle me for fun.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That ain't right.
There are. Yeah.
The kids are terrible. The kids are. Well, me and kids don't get along. JLJ Media asks thoughts about Margaret Cho and Ali Wong. I guess we were asking about Asian women comedians. Just, I guess, as performers, as people, as whatever you want to interpret as.
Totally. So Ali Wong was one of the one. I was washing my face, and then I saw Ali Wong, right? And I said, "Oh my God, there is somebody that look like me, is talking about the things that I think that's funny and the things I think about." And she's the one who made a push, because up to that point, even though I see other comedians, I still do not envision that I can do it. So it's when Ali Wong's special, the Baby Cobra, I saw it. It's, oh my God, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Margaret Cho, I think I missed the time because I came to America. I think I came to America early enough, but by the time I start to be more in tune, like my English was good enough to enjoy life. That was, I missed the Margaret Cho's time. Yeah. But I was able to see her live at a casino in Washington, because, Margaret Cho is here. And she did not give a fuck. I'm just telling you, she showed up, and then I feel like she did not really care so much, but then like she's still hilarious. That was very funny. She was funny.
I remember when I was a kid, she had a sitcom called like All American Girls. That was like the mid '90s, so I can imagine you'd be like if you're not old, you'd be like, what? I don't know. And I guess to JLJ's question, Haywood Wong asks, would you work with Aquafina or Ming Na Wen?
Ming Na Wen? Who is Ming Na Wen? Ming Na Wen? But Aquafina, I love Aquafina. When I was writing like one of my screenplay ideas, I was trying to imagine who would be an actress, and then like Aquafina is the one who came to my head. And then the movie Farewell, and oh my God, I was crying like a little baby in the theater. It was just like I relate to that so much.
Sure. Just taking a question to follow up with Haywood Wong. He actually asked, says, whoops, sorry about that. API hate is real. Just about your experience of that. I mean, you are traveling, you're seeing these people, and people are trying to scare you with bad gas. But like, especially what's going on this year, what was your experience? I mean, just becoming a performer, being out there, having a platform while this is going on or bubbling to the surface.
Yeah, so in a way that I feel I have been sheltered from a lot of the more like hate crime, right? Because I live in Seattle. But in the meantime, if I look back, a lot of times is more. I feel like a lot of the AAPI hate generated a lot of times from very subtle and um like racism that's not taken as a serious lot and just brush, oh no, it's a joke. To tell you, like, so my hometown is Wuhan.
Hmm.
So in the early days, right, like when I mentioned, oh, I'm from Wuhan, it's almost like a cool thing. People like just like, ooh, don't shake your hand. It was like, dirty.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. And then so even now, I feel like it's accepted, okay, to make fun of it. Like people say, oh, they will try to put on a mask on Zoom, but that, like, where do you draw the line? Because I almost feel like I know a lot of times people don't have the intention. Like, I still truly believe most people do not have the intention to hurt people, but a lot of
sure.
times it's more a grinded, one thing rose to another. The
Right.
biggest one I get is actually on TikTok, really, because um, whenever I share like Chinese culture, where my hometown, there are always people were saying like I'm just CPP propaganda. Chinese government hired me.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
the thing is, I'm American. I'm not even Chinese citizen. I gave up my Chinese citizenship to become American. And
Yeah.
then the Chinese people are also mad at me. Like, I think one time I talked about how I lost my Chinese citizenship, and all the Chinese people were like, "Oh yeah, like you think you're better than us," or like a lot of people also mad at me. It's like, yeah, and we don't want you either. So
Yeah.
you're in this position.
Okay, so that's a lot to unpack there, Bernice. I mean, like, there's certain obviously some certain similarities as being a minority, but yours very specific. So you have to forfeit your Chinese citizenship to be on the path of American citizenship. And you're saying you're getting it from both ends. What's that do to you as a performer and as a person, man? That must be a lot to take on if you're at a party and someone goes, "Where you're from?" You're like, "Well, nobody likes me right now. They both don't like." What goes through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing that helped me is growing up. I was always in this position of there's a lot of uphill battle I need to fight. Like, I'm always doing something like different. So I was never really liked by the Chinese people when I grow up, because they think I'm ugly, they think I was too fat, and I broke rules from school. I was a really good, like a top student with top grades, but because of that, I don't like to follow every rules of the teacher have. So I'm very used to people trying to talk down to me, and what
Sure.
I learned is like the more energy I spend with that, then the more fear that I put on me, the more I lose my confidence. And then I feel like that's where I lose my battle. If I walk into a room, I'm already filled with fear in my heart.
Yeah.
The competition or whatever is not fair anymore, right? So it really sucks that I have to go through that. But then to me it's like, um like if there Chinese people are mad at me, I lost Chinese citizenship. It's like, well, I guess I'm fine being American, right?
It's okay. It's
Yeah,
I.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then still I feel like even though to this date, I mean, looking at what's happening in the country, sometimes I feel like, oh, become American is like, step in that line in the grocery store. Like, no matter which line you step, it becomes the slow line.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, to put in perspective, I would still choose freedom over anything. Like, here, we still have, um, like, I'm able to speak to whatever I want to speak to. Like, I feel like I still would choose this. And
Yeah.
now I feel we have more hope. I know it sounds like a little bit delusional, but I do
Not
feel
at
like
all.
progress is still being made.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Well, some progress is okay. Has that influenced some of your comedy, especially now over the past couple of months? Do you feel like a need to bring the issues with your comedy, or is that something you say the opposite? You go, no, I'm trying to present escapism from what's happening. What's your
I think,
balance?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely, I think about it a lot. I think the most authentic way for me to do is to share my story, and the message is up for the audience to interpret, right? So, because I feel a lot of times is like we don't see enough Asians, like we don't see us. It's more being portrayed as a thing. Oh, this is what Asians are like. This is what Asians do.
Really?
Right, so if that's like, then we're dehumanized. I
Sure.
feel like, why not we be friends? Why not we connect at an emotional level? Because maybe we look very differently, but we battle the same human conditions and human insecurity, childhood trauma, and that's what connect us. And then the more people see that, they feel like, yeah, she's a person. And then the more Asians you see, you will not say, oh, I have an Asian friend. So it's not like that anymore, right?
Right, right, right. It's kind of that too. Well, between performing and I guess surviving, it seems. What do you do for fun? Like, what do you do to unwind, decompress, to center yourself, to recharge the battery?
Um, it all depends on where I am. You mentioned the nunchucks. I actually, I picked up nunchucks. I mean, I'm not a martial artist. I'm not trying. I mean, I know your audience are all like into the real shit. Um,
Yeah.
I picked up nunchucks because I don't know, it's part of, I'm a dancer, so I always like to move my body. And when the all the AAPI hate crime happened, I was just like, I'm furious in a way that it's just, I just want to kick those people's ass. Like that's how I feel. And then like I want to learn martial arts, right? So I started to watch some YouTube videos, and I want to buy those sticks and things to play with. And I saw, oh, why not nunchucks? I think it's cool.
Yeah.
So I picked those up, and after hitting my head a few times,
Wait, did you buy the training nunchucks first, or you bought the
the
actual
training
nunchucks?
one. No, no, the
Oh,
training one.
thank the
Yeah, yeah,
Lord.
yeah. I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
was like, oh
would.
no, Bernie's out.
The even the foamed one, the training one, if you hit your head, oh, it hurts. I got a bump here, a while ago. I think it still have a little bump.
Do you tell people what happens if you injure yourself, or do you make something up? Like, oh, I was fighting crime, man. You know, like how do you like how do you explain to people you're doing nunchucks like 2021?
um so I mean, I usually don't glamorify, what's the word,
Glamorize?
glamorize my injury. Usually the injury comes from the most dumb thing ever. But I will say though, I hit that once. Then I haven't hit my head anymore, and I'm very proud of that. And I
Huh.
think it's just a really good workout. I actually think, maybe one day we'll have this nunchuck workout. It's just a cool cardio workout, because it's like, oh my god, it's so good for the shoulder. Because we
Yeah,
will, well, like work in front of a computer like this, right?
right.
Like nunchucks, the only way is you got to have your shoulder this way, and otherwise you hit your head. So
I am learning so. See, when I did karate when I was a kid, I learned on the size because like Raphael is my favorite turtle. But yeah,
mm,
I hadn't really actually seen an actual person, a real person in the flesh, work nunchucks. But I'm looking at your Instagram. You're like on the beach with the nunchucks. You're in your room with the nunchucks. Like, you put a daily effort into that? Is like a hobby, or is this kind of like when you get the mood?
you got me into the mood, but also I really just want to open my shoulder, because I'm working in front of the computer. I feel tired, and
Yeah.
just by doing this, like I doing like this for 30 reps, I got sore. So I feel like, that's very effective, because I don't do any sort of workout that work my shoulder this way.
Yeah, that's like a vigilante workout. That just blows my mind. Like, I have to like get up there myself. Why not? Going to see me in
Yeah.
the streets, going like, "What? What up? You want to handle this? Let's." Let's do it. But so I also see the fact you like, you said you were a dancer and you like to do comedy as well. The whole performance thing. I know besides the restrictions of the pandemic and everything, has your audience changed over the years?
Mm.
You like, did you have to tailor your material to something different? You have to do different, like, expressions with dancing differently ever since you the big year 2020?
Um, Definitely I got more to meet people more randomly online, right? And then, people from all ages. But a lot of times, like, Austin can probably like know, like, a lot of time people think I'm from LA because I guess I do a lot of shows with LA comics, and a lot of audience also from LA. So even though I'm in like Washington, Seattle, sometimes I feel like, like I can't wait to visit some of the new friends I met over there. But I also did shows in London, not in London, like Zoom show
Yeah.
audience, like UK audience. Very fun. Like
Yeah.
they really keep their attention. Like one show, they had a 40 minutes intermission. Like, gosh, they took 10 minutes off and everybody came back on time. Like in the States, people just drop off,
Yeah,
right?
we believe. Yeah, the intermission. Ah, you
It's
messed up, homie. See you tomorrow. Yeah, that's crazy. And so, did your material work the same way? Did it work better? Is it different? Like, how do they respond to your work?
I was surprised, and like the one. I mean, obviously, I thought about, okay, maybe this one wouldn't work. I didn't do it there, but like, I some of the jokes I talk about fortune cookies. They have fortune cookies there. Chopsticks are the same. They also know about China censorship. So yeah, actually, it was like I was a little bit nervous about how the culture
Yeah.
reference work. Yeah, it worked pretty well. I don't think they watch Sopranos because they did not get that reference.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's a show that's become like a cult status here, but I bet they're kind of like, what? Like, I know there's a show that's been on TV for 30 years over there. Well, a lot of shows, like Coronation Street or Taggart. Like, no one watches those shows. So when like my British cousin talks about those shows, you're just like, yeah, okay. Whatever. I hate to ask you this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway because it's my show. Is there such a thing called the Dream? Like, is it a comedy special? Is it a talk show? Is it a line of merchandise? What does peak Bernice look like?
I am definitely a dreamer. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's a great question. Um, Having a stand-up commercial, special, that would be a dream. That would be a dream. I also think ultimately I would love either have um a feature film or a book. Like the one story I'm dying to tell, but right now I almost feel like I need to get better at my writing so that I can tell the story. It's the bigger goal. And I want to get there. But I must hone my skills first. But I'm getting started. So like, hey, whenever the raw ideas come in, I'm writing, I'm taking classes and workshops,
Yeah.
just working my yeah.
Well, yeah, the fact that you're pursuing to be better at something is always amazing. So, the movie, the Netflix special, anything on the dancing side? Anything like,
The answer is that I have accepted that it's something that will always be with me, but I will just enjoy it. The one that I'm mostly dancing is Argentine Tango.
oh,
I yeah. Ask any questions if you want to know more about Argentine Tango. I never know, if it's something people interested in or not.
do
Um,
you do Argentine Tango with the nunchucks, or is that just something special?
I tried a little bit because with the nunchucks you can kick it, right? So there is a move in tango. It's called a buleo. It's like the whip. So it's almost like you dissociate your upper body and lower body, and so quick your leg become a whip. So there is a different move that somebody told me to. You kick the nunchuck. I was like, what can I whip it? It's very difficult because that timing has to be so precise. But I guess if I'm really good, maybe.
Oh wow, yeah, but the
Yeah,
Argentine Tango of all, well, tango is very, very, very like a very popular dance form. But like, what does Argentine Tango mean? Is it a different expression of tango, or an older version,
yeah.
or
And
what's the
so
difference?
a lot of times what we see on TV is like the ballroom tango, the one with a rose that that's like
Yeah,
the ballroom tango, an Argentine tango, especially in the social theme. It's much more intimate. It's fully improvised, and a lot of times if you watch people doing, you have no idea what's really going on. But in the social dancing is all about connection, so the leader and the follower is all from like, you don't say anything, the leader will just initiate, the followers know exactly what to do, and it's very addictive dance because of that reason.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sounds
And
central. I'll add that to my list.
yeah, it's very essential. And then like the history of it, it's also an immigrant dance. So back in, shoot, if my time is right, I think it's in the 1800s. The immigrants from Europe, they came to Buenos Aires as workers, labor worker, and they couldn't bring their wives, so it's just all men. And at night they are very lonely, and then so they would either dance with each other, or they go to the brothels to dance with the prostitutes. And
Mhm.
yeah, so and it's kind of highly frowned upon by the upper class. But when the rebels from Europe came and they saw that, they found this cool dance, they thought, oh, that's so cool, so they brought it back to Europe and they made it popular.
Man, to further prove that people do things because they're lonely. It ain't gonna change, man.
Yeah,
Pandemic or
yeah.
not, that's very interesting. You come out there, you labor, you're like, man, I wish my wife was here. Yo, homie, you want to dance for a bit? That's cool.
Right? That's so cool. I wish we had more of that. It's like, hey, my wife is not here, homie, let's dance.
I thought you never asked, brother. Like, it's just so fun. Yeah, so thank you so much in the chat here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, asking your questions that they come and pour in. But in the meantime, Bernice, are you down to play a game with me?
Yes. How can I
Woo!
say no?
Yeah, I mean, you can be kind of awkward. Like, oh,
But this is
well,
fun. This is so fun.
this one here is a classic here on the show. This one's called Your Favorite Things. I'll ask you things what your favorite are, and you tell me how or why. And if there's a second runner up, that's cool too. Cool.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Favorite junk food.
Favorite junk food. I mean, I have those coconut rolls right in front of me. It's like at the Costco you can buy that coconut rolls. I can finish the whole bag.
What? I gotta look those up. I mean, wait, is it a Costco size bag?
It is a Costco, but it's smaller than the regular Costco
Okay.
size. Yeah.
I'm on you. Favorite thing to do after a workout.
After workout. Oh, after workout. I just shower.
I guess it could be favorite. I love shower. Favorite TV show that you love that most people do not.
Oh, that's a good twist, right? TV show, but people do not like. Ah, okay, that's me. Okay, people don't even know about this one.
Put me
It's
on.
called. Yeah, it's on Hulu. It's a Ru Yi. If you search Ru Yi, it's like a palace. Ru Yi is royal love in palace. Okay, all right. So I did not expect this to be so good. It's a Chinese series show, and it's a historical. It's based on historical drama, right?
Yeah.
And it has 89 episodes. So in China, we do not do seasons. Okay, we do not do seasons. It just pile it on. And so when my fiance watched it with me, and then he was intimidated, he's like, "Oh my god, there's many episodes." We could not stop watching it.
Yeah.
And they do not follow any of the Hollywood formula or structure whatsoever. They don't know how to do cliffhangers. They just end on most random bit. But like we just couldn't stop watching it.
Is it like a telenovela kind of a thing where it's like what's happening next week? Tune in next week, kind of like what kind of show is it? Is it a drama? Is it a comedy?
Yeah, it's a drama. Imagine the Crown. Imagine
Okay.
the Crown. But it's like Chinese emperor. So this is in the Qing dynasty, and we have the Chinese emperor, and then they can have hundreds of wives and concubines, and the wives and concubines, they also like to fight for power. Like whoever gets favored has more power, they live better life, and it's all based on the true legend from the history. So like all the characters are just fascinating. Yeah.
What's it called again? I'm trying to look this up here. What's it called again?
Yeah. So I will spell it for you. Do you have a Hulu?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So if you search Ruyi, so RUYI, you
Why
should come
I
up. Yeah.
wait. Rui's Royal Love in the Palace.
Yeah,
Ready to
yeah,
learn this
yeah,
day.
yeah, 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 yeah.
All right. Wow, these costumes are dope. All right, adding that together. Sorry, focus, Flobo. Moving on. Favorite thing to do first thing in the morning?
First thing in the morning, favorite thing, make avocado toast.
Really? I do not like avocado, but I heard a lot of people do. A lot of people do. I just
I
don't
mean,
get it.
for whatever this whole people make fun of the millennial thing, I was like, I like avocado toast. And
If you
I
like
figured
it,
out
go
the
for it.
trick. I figured out a trick. So I had a battle with avocado for years, right? Because you buy one, it's either too raw or too ripened. You never had it right. Like you will spend so much money just throw them away.
Great.
I finally figured out if you pick something that just feels just about right, put them in the fridge. They last you for weeks.
Oh,
Yeah, so I
pro
like I
tip.
feel like part of me I feel proud that I figured avocado out.
I feel the same with mangoes, man. Either like they're super hard or they just turn black. You're like, what the? Hey, I already bought you guys. All right, how dare you? Favorite thing a fan has done for you to show their support?
Oh, oh my God. Like I have one time, I have a veteran came to my show, so I had this joke. I haven't told forever because on Zoom it did not work very well. But it's about how my citizenship test, and then it's kind of like pretty vulnerable to share my like American dream. And so I have this veteran came to me, write a message like he found me on Facebook and sending me a message and say, wow, like hearing your story make my heart feel so proud that I served my country. So like that's the
Yeah.
type of moments, and so, oh my God, that means everything. Like having one message like that make it all worth it. Like it doesn't even matter like where do I go from here.
Aw.
Yeah.
Kirsten says, love avocado toast. Hey, just because you like it. No, I'm not gonna stop anyone's like favorite thing, but come on. No, I'm just kidding. Favorite holiday?
For your holiday, favorite holiday, favorite holiday.
Holiday. Holiday.
It's easy. It's easy. July 4th because that's the day, holiday with the best weather in Seattle.
Oh, fair enough. I was like, best weather. Oh, Seattle, got it. I've never been to Seattle.
Seattle,
I've been to Portland. I haven't been to Seattle, and it's very similar. I think it's rainy, wet, humid.
very similar. Very similar. It's almost like in most of the time in Seattle, like okay, July 4th is like the beginning of the summer. That's the
Mm,
first nice weekend that you can rely on.
yeah.
Yeah.
And lastly, favorite day of your life.
Favorite day of my life. Favorite day of
Yeah.
my life.
Or top three, if you're kind of like, I don't know.
Oh my God, this is
I
hard.
I try to get that Peabody Award. You know what I'm saying? With that journalistic award, asking people deep questions. That's my job. That's my goal in life.
That's a deep question because I feel like all my favorite day now might be the most miserable day at the time. Like,
Yeah.
right? Like, because I think when I came to Seattle, now it's like, well, that day changed my life. But then, like, that day, I was so miserable. Like, I got on the plane, but I was also like breaking up with my boyfriend at the time. Got on the plane from like Indiana here because I went to Purdue and dragged two big ass suitcase like and I don't know the map. Like we don't have the smartphone, so I have to use this GPS, and GPS went out of battery. I'm driving for the first time. I had the learner's lessons before, but I didn't drive in Indiana, so I'm getting on the highway. I'm scared the shit of myself. and I have to drag 2 suitcases in the dark and trying to find this apartment. And so that day I just literally just pining on the floor and cry.
Yeah.
But then I feel like, oh, I'm so glad I'm here. So
Yeah, it's bittersweet days are great. Why
yeah.
not? And you know what? I could totally relate to that. Having that feeling of just being exhausted with traveling. Like I just want to be comfortable. Uh, but that was pretty much it for that. Well, thank you for answering this question because you could have been like, "Nah, I'm good." I know we talked about this before we went live. Did you have any questions for me before we wrap this up? I know you said you had some questions for your boy. I don't know if you had anything stocked. Just let me know. Lay it on me.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to get to know you. I'm going to put 2 questions here because you might like
Of course.
how did you come up with like what's a Flobo, like what's the idea behind it?
Oh, that's a crazy thing. So I wasn't a content creator, but I used to do this video where I would like talk to my computer, like a blog or whatever. And I used to work at this digital network called AfterBuzz TV, and one of the hosts, her name is Steph Sabra. When I would walk into the studio, she'd be like, "What's up, Flobo?" And that was like her thing. And I said, "Look, it sounds inviting as hell. You know, it doesn't sound like hello. It doesn't sound like late night talk or whatever." Over the summer of the pandemic, I wanted to do a news show, sort of like the Daily Show, but it was really me talking about the news. And then had guests on, and the guests were supposed to talk about the news. And I realized no one cares about the news, especially in 2020, because we cared about Tiger King staying inside. And so it became kind of like a little bit of an after show. Like sometimes I drink, sometimes I don't. I have coffee today. It's 10 o'clock Eastern, 1 a.m. 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern. So I kind of leaned into it. I got myself a little.
Yeah, where are you based, by the way?
Neon Moon. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm from New York,
Okay.
but I'm living in Los Angeles. But yeah, I
Nice,
made a whole
nice.
thing. Yeah, cool.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah.
Cool.
I mean also like your story, like,
I don't have a
New
story. It's
York.
all right. I was a Brooklyn kid, and I went to Florida for college, and I went to Southern California for grad school, and I've been stuck here ever since. That's pretty much
Nice.
my story. But
So
never did
what's the
anything
thing
brave.
with wrestling? The wrestling, because you said you have a lot of like audience,
Oh yeah, well, for
wrestlers.
true. So a lot of the fans that tune in here are from the AfterBuzz mold because I did a lot of the after shows for wrestling, but I worked in wrestling in 2010 11 as a ring announcer and as a commentator, as a backstage interviewer, lifelong fan of wrestling. Sometimes before the pandemic, obviously, when WWE was in town, I got a chance to work as a PA for WWE. So imagine that, like, let's say they come in and go, "Oh wait, we're doing a match tonight where the EMTs are going to check on someone. We need someone to go out to get the gloves. The EMTs are going to put on their hands on TV. Hey, you go out and get it." And I was like, "Cool, all right." So I get to be in the arena. I get to get to the wrestler. So like everything I've ever done as an adult, from comedy to video games to everything, has related to wrestling. And so I
Oh my
like it.
god. That's fun. That's fun. I know in Seattle they have a show like comic wrestle each other. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna win. You're gonna
I mean,
destroy that game.
dude, let's do it, man. I was totally going to Seattle for a fight. Why not? But yeah, I want to thank you so much for being on this edition of What's Up Flobo After Hours. And I know your comedy is going, it's rocking and rolling. If someone wanted to connect with you, see what you're working on, all that crazy stuff, how would they go about doing that?
Oh, thank you for asking. You're so sweet to have me. So I'm Bernice at Bernice Comedy on everything. Yeah, so I think I put something here, but like I'm on
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, and there's a new thing called the Rizzle. I just learned about it, but it's like a short content for series. It's
Oh,
pretty cool. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's like if you want to do some episodic stuff, it's fun. So yeah, like on Twitter, all this Bernice Comedy.
Wow, that's the keep the brand uniform. That's all you need. I want to thank everyone once again. Yeah, sorry, one of my broadcast colleagues, Jack Farmer, lives in that area. He's from a town called Parkland, which is like outside Tacoma. So yeah, well, thank you so much for being on the show. I want you back sometime in the future. You know, you're always a welcome here. But again, until next time, thank you so much for checking out What's Up Flobo After Hours. We'll be back next Monday with more fun. I have guest Mike Brown is going to be on the show. It's going to be a grand old time. But until next time, finally, After Hours are closed.
The bed is in the land.